Today we're going to test the Goldensaber 147 grain bonded jacketed hollow point. Now this is a brass jacketed hollow point, so it's going to be a little bit different. It's basically a bonded version of the old school Goldensaber, and here you can see I have two ballistics gel blocks, clear ballistics, 16 inches long on this one, 16 inches long, but it's 6 inches wide, so it's going to give me that extra space to try to catch it. This is prior use, so not going to be able to use it unfortunately. So I'm going to be testing the P2000 with a 3.7 inch barrel. It has polygonal rifling, and it has a chamber step, so that should help velocity a bit. And then if I don't really get that good of results, and I might do it anyways, we got the Steyr M9 here with a 4-inch barrel. So we'll see how it goes. And today we got a cotton t-shirt, which will be basically just like this, because this will give it 2 layers. And this is going to simulate winter, because 147 grain is a pretty good winter round because you can carry full-size pistols. And then I have my Carhartt knockoff right here. I'm going to basically just shoot it through the front, and we'll see how it goes. 3 rounds for the P2000. Well, it looks like we had one complete pass through right here. It hit the cardboard, hit the tire, left all the fouling or all the clogged material in there, and it's just right there. So there we go, Goldensaber Bonded. Now this one actually hit 3 layers. As you can see, it hit right on the threading right here. Basically the thickest material, it was overlapped, so basically it was going through like 3, 4, 5 layers, and then it went through the cotton t-shirt. But as you can see, this is its line, flat line all the way through, so you can tell these others expanded. You got one right here and one right here, so it looks like they did expand, and we will get those out of the gel. But since this happened, I'm going to go ahead and test the Steyr. I only got the top half of the block here, so I've got some room. So why don't we just go ahead and test this and see if we can get better results from the Steyr. Okay, Steyr M9A1, 3 shots for it. Okay, it would appear that we are getting very interesting results here. Looks like the Steyr did actually help it a bit, but here's the thing, it did expand. It went through the worst of it, the thickest part, and we did have expansion here. But it did not stop it from going all the way through, 22 inches. By the way, this is here for a marker. I just shoved the bullet in the top so I know which ones are which. And it looks like the Steyr pushed the bullets a little further, which to me is actually good. I do like deeper penetration on these kinds of rounds. I don't really have too much of a problem with it. Now, again, keep in mind that clear ballistics flexes much like muscle. We can't really hold the penetration standards to be the same as the FBI calibrated ballistics gel, because typically what goes 12 inches in FBI ballistics gel, it will go around this penetration in clear ballistics. But the one that I was most worried about was the complete pass-through. As you can see, there's no indentation on the tire, and we move this out of the way, rotate the tire a bit, there's no real indentation on it. So it didn't really pass through with much force, but it was enough. And you can see some of the clogging, and I did hit the little knot, although I grazed it, so this was pretty ugly. And if we pull back here, there you go. So yeah, it was a pretty ugly little situation that I had to go through, but it did pretty good. Now, of course, this expansion is not going to cause any permanent damage in the body or anything, and these shots are pretty close together. But yeah, you got to read this by penetration, not this, because this is not really going to do anything to muscle. Muscle is very elastic, and this stuff does not flex as much as muscle actually would. So just keep that in mind. So let's go ahead and get these out of the gel, and then we'll go ahead and reevaluate everything on the table. So how about those results with the Goldensaber 147 grain bonded? So as you saw, this is the P2000 3 rounds, and this is the Steyr M9 3 rounds. So you had the worst of them and the best of them. So this wasn't really that great, but it kind of goes to show that the 147 grain in the Goldensaber Bonded, it's basically better for a 4-inch or up. I don't think the velocity was that much off, but maybe in a P30 it would do better. I can test it later, but yeah, that was basically a worst case scenario. It went right on the stitching where it overlaps, and pretty tough material, pretty cinched down, not really loose at all, still pretty tight. So really worst case scenario. So I think the penetration was definitely acceptable. So basically it went to about 19 inches on these consistently, except for this one. This one went all the way through and just like fell out the back, if you will. So you saw what happened with that. This one went all the way through, and it was not really good. This probably wouldn't be the ammo that I would consider for the P2000, but you know, it could work in a pinch, not really that big of a deal. These ones were a little deeper in penetration, about 21 inches. So, I mean, it's really on you to decide, but I think it did pretty well given the circumstances.